virus, my show is the fresh new home of an authentic, uncompromised quest for transformation and salvation, both personal and collectively, as I vigorously interrogate the theological and symbolic meanings embedded in our society. I promise to leverage my knowledge of history, theology, and both international and domestic issues to imagine an inclusive vision for the future, which I hope will inspire all of us to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as a given, not just an aspiration. So join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley for 2 hours of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff?
The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss you. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad pipes routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my neck.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
Zoe Williams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
The most heartbreaking thing about having a childhood, defined by neglect, wounding, inconsistency, a lack of predictability, rage, whatever it is in the parents, is often this idea that deep inside, because we believe as kids that things are our fault, that we must live in a state of fearing that at the end of the day, we cannot count on humans. Humans are not safe. As I often say, humans are the trigger. And the biggest wound about living in a state of a lack of trust, which at the core is the heart of living with a fear of abandonment, is that you can't safely relax and trust in your body as a child, that the parent will be there consistently. It's high highs, it's low lows, it's they're there, they're gone, whatever it is. And the heartbreaking piece is that in order to survive the fear of abandonment by a parent, you are forced to abandon yourself. And it starts in your cells so early in your experience that it often becomes your entire trauma personality, which is living in a state of fear of people not being safe. And what happens in these childhoods is that you spend all of your time, your resources, your coping strategies, protecting yourself, and often scanning for threat in hypervigilance or complete collapse, let's say in shutdown of a freeze mode. You spend it in trauma responses. That takes away from your ability to develop a whole sense of self. So you spend it abandoning yourself, who you are, your beliefs, your sense of unique humanness in the world, in order to serve preparing yourself to not be abandoned, right? I must fawn over the parent this way. I must suppress my needs that way. I must live in hypervigilance over here. I must hide in my room over there. Whatever it is, you are trying in your effort to not be abandoned, because in childhood you sense that in some way. You are forced to abandon yourself. And so you wake up in adulthood and you live with this fear, belief deep inside that people will leave you, that they're not safe and not trustworthy. And it's such a part of who you are that you don't even know where to begin. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I fully believe that it plays out in this compulsiveness. Because in our childhood, while we were protecting and scanning and all of those things, like a reflex, we compulsively did these next 10 things. And to me, if you really want to cure and heal as much as you can these abandonment wounds and fears, which if you have a significant one, or even just whatever it is, it's probably always going to be there in some form. But hopefully over time, you don't live in that, it doesn't pop up. When you're triggered, at some point you're able to see it, and then you know what to do about it. So let's talk about what that looks like. This is how you abandon yourself in the service of not being abandoned in childhood. And this is what it plays out in, right? Number one, compulsive shame. So you compulsively go into situations believing that you're not enough, you're not worthy, you're bad, there's something wrong with you, you're unlovable. And in some ways it acts to protect you against the even possibility of rejection, of abandonment. So you sort of read the world through the lens of these glasses. And if you want to work on healing this, you have to deal with your shame. You have to look at your literal posture, internal and external of this, which is literally trauma and shame living in the body, to come into a sense of openness and strength, and to really lean into the resilience that if you made it this far, you already have. So that's the first thing you want to work.
Man, Dr. Kim Sage on Complete Fire. Talking about that early childhood dynamic. Carry it into adult relationships for reconciliation, unbeknownst to you. It's unconscious. The voice of reason has returned. How is it that we carry all this stuff from childhood into our adult relationships and we don't know until we're there? Until the conflicts start to bubble to the surface of our consciousness. Very interesting stuff. Tonight's topic is a deep one, man. The law of access. Relationality as portal or predation. An ontological excavation of sacred boundaries, unworthy witnesses, and the metaphysics of intimacy. Who should be allowed in your space? Who is allowed in your space, and why? Who isn't allowed in your space? I'm starting to think that many people disallow the cure and allow that which is familiar. The cure might be uncomfortable, might question you, might challenge you, might break down all your preconceived ideas and concepts about everything. Right? He's not, she's not welcome here. Right? But that which is familiar to your wounds, frequencies, and resonance, they're welcomed. Very interesting stuff. Let me get my brother. Hey, he's back. I gotta get him. Ronan from Naptown. I'm sorry, Ronan. You got to continue to cook, my friend. We just lost Sean. Sean from Oakland. Call back in. You know we going to get to you. Stop playing. Get back on the line, Sean. But go ahead. Go ahead, Ronan. Finish your thought, brother.
Okay. Well, that's all I'm saying. It's like when it came to the Marine Corps, in order to cross over, you had this thing called the Crucible. And it's basically adversity training. So in the same context, you're talking about relationship. Like, does this person have confidentiality? Do they have the ability to handle and anticipate and deal with adversity? If not, they're not privileged to cross over.
Wait.
So the thing is, like,
stop, because these are big pieces.
Yeah.
Do they have the resilience to deal with adversity? That can transfer over to intimate relationships. We're not asking people to endure a boxing match in the kitchen over the last bit of Rice Krispies. That's toxic. We're talking about people who challenge who you became after you survived Mama Nim. See, that's a toxic relationship in today's redefining of it. It's just too much. I mean, oh my God, this is no, a person who is going to mirror this work back to you is seen as toxic.
Well, it's a lot of times we're fearful of facing ourselves. Now, the thing is, like, if I have love for you for something, like you trusted me with information, am I willing to sit back and see you through or do my best, just like in a battlefield? Am I willing to shoot those rounds next to you to make sure we make it home?
What does, wait, this is deep, because in the military, you guys got to have each other's back, right?
You have to. You're going to be under fire.
So translate that to the intimate piece.
when it comes to intimacy, first and foremost, you got to have your own fire team. This is where you're in the mix of everything. You have certain signals, you have certain things, and make sure you have sound communication. Everything you need to sit there and go through what you're going through to make it to the next mission or home. And most people, they'll leave you hanging, or you'll be you'll be the target of friendly fire.
Ooh, let's flip it. Let's flip it back to intimate relationships.
Yeah.
So, you said the communication has to be on point, correct?
Yes.
Because in a military sense, you guys have orders, you have instructions. And if the wrong orders or instructions are conveyed, the whole situation is at risk, correct?
Correct.
Okay, cool. Now, in the relationship, if we flip this to the relationship side, in order for you to get a higher ranking, right, for your intimacy clearance into my soul, I need to be able to trust you in there.
Yeah.
You're not going to take back classified information, right? This information is on a need-to-know basis, correct?
Right.
Right? You're not going to weaponize the information you learned about my inner child, my wounds, whatever. You're not going to weaponize that against me, right? Are you? Am I?
Yeah,
but,
you're correct.
But do you see how I'm flipping this back? Listen, man.
Yeah, that's it.
But do we do that in intimate relationships? We typically, you show up, you got all the clearance you need until you mess up. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Until you mess up, you got all the clearance. You got full access to everything until you mess up. Am I correct?
Yeah. I get what you're saying, though. I see you go.
No, a lot of people. I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of people will be like, here you go. Right? And they don't, when I say here you go, this is what I mean by that. That doesn't mean they're not skeptical. That doesn't mean that they're not withholding aspects of themselves. That doesn't mean any of that. What it means is you got the same clearance. All I'm waiting on is for time to pass. That time is used with me getting comfortable with you. And all the stuff I said I was going to hold back from you, that melts away after I get comfortable. Do you know how quick people get comfortable? Talk to me, Ronan.
Yeah, some people get way too comfortable. They want weekend liberty. They just got in boot camp. Like, that's not how that works.
Weekend liberty is great.
That's not how it works. Everything is earned. And the thing is, like, it comes to, like, we have this thing called esprit de corps. And for Semper Fidelis, always faithful. Mm-hmm. So not just in the service, we got to conduct ourselves. It's outside.
Right.
How we maneuver, how we carry ourselves. The reputation matters.
Right. Man, Ronan, let me just say this, brother, man. I don't hear from you enough, but I love you, dog. I love you, man. You always come in and cook, man. Guess what you just did, my friend?
I just burned down Indianapolis.
Naptown is in the building. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call in. The number to dial is 1-800-920-1580. We got the deaconess. The deaconess is on the line. You already know what it is. It's food for thought. Nikki from the SIP, what are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
Just a perspective, Brother Zoe and the fam, that's not being talked about, but real relevant. Mm-hmm. So part of what makes this thing with Doge so significant in letting all these people go home or sending all these people home is they take their security clearance with them. No, but when the government is sending them home, they're taking that clearance back, which devalues them in the marketplace. Because that secret security clearance has a value, dollar. So if you are allowing in your intimate relationships the secret security clearance from the get and not requiring steps, qualifications, proof, when that person in the intimate relationship you're in with starts to behave like the dark mirror, you're not maybe picking up that you're being devalued in that space also.
Interesting. Yes. I love it.
Because when you talk about all these people going home with all this knowledge that have that secret security clearance, that gives them access to all of our civilian people's information, retirement amounts, where you spend your money, how you spend all of that. Okay, when they say you got to go home in 30 days, one of the things they do is they take that security clearance. So now when you get ready to go, if you're not retirement age and you get ready to go to the next job, one of the things that made you marketable, six-figure marketable, is you have that security clearance. But if they take it back, you don't have that anymore. That's why I'm saying there's a value attached to that.
Right.
Same thing's happening in your intimate relationship. You can't be giving people the secret security. Not what? Listen, but Mississippi Pew Girl has called in before.
But wait, hold on one second, because you're saying something that's really powerful. So many people are self-protective out of fear.
Yep.
How can you be self-protective from an awakened, non-judgmental space, right? An objective space. Because so many people think they're being protective, but really they're fearful. So they might block, good people that are coming into their life, people that are actually genuine. What's the demarcation line between an awakened boundary versus a fear-based boundary?
Part of it comes from something you talk about all the time. We talk about in here in terms of your internal work. Because it's kind of like what Ronan was talking about relative to the military, because one of the comments I made was verbal communication and nonverbal communication. In some instances, nonverbal is...
Wait, Nikki, stay right there. Don't go nowhere. Because she is on fire. I need her to have space to do this, man. She is out here cooking the rarest grease. When we come forward, we're going back to Mississippi because Bishop Nikki ain't done.
Relationships. Got you confused? Need some straight talk? This is where you get the unfiltered truth about love, relationships, and everything in between. He breaks down relationship dynamics with no-nonsense wisdom and practical advice that actually works. Tackling the questions you're afraid to ask and giving you the answers you need to hear. You're inside the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we're proud to be celebrating 4 years on the air, but we know we could not have made it this far without you. We work hard every single day to curate conversations that will enlighten, encourage, and empower you. So, from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580, a big thank you for your love and support.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
And by the way, if your smartphone did not update automatically, be sure to download our brand new KBLA 1580 app. We think you'll love all the new features, including new ways to send us photos and video in real time, whenever news breaks, while we're on the air. It's a new dawn, a new day for KBLA Talk 1580, and we're glad you're on this journey with us.
You never turned away, you were right there. Thank you.
KBLA KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a Black and brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Security, isn't it? I want to be secure. That's why I follow a guru. I want to be secure in my relationship with you, with my wife. She's mine.
She's mine.
Right? Secure. Right, sir? Secure, protected, safe. Some place I must have that. Right? At home, it's rather difficult in a factory or in a bureaucratic structure. The desire, the urge, the response, the reaction is safety. I must be safe, secure. Right? I, K, so-and-so name, B.A. You're a crazy clown. Or MP, Member of Parliament. Follow? Titles matter very much here in this country. So it's a form of security. Right? We all want security. But we never question, is there security at all?
Man, y'all not ready for Murti, man. Krishnamurti, man. We call him Krishnahurti because he's always dropping truth bombs that actually hurt. He said, you've never even questioned the validity of security, although you want it. And you let fear evaluate, pick and choose, and judge your partners. You're not... Let me get Nikki from the sit back in here, because that's what she was on. I don't want to infringe upon her thought. Nikki from Mississippi, please get back in here and continue this meal.
We can't do that fear thing. That fear thing is not from God anyway, and it's a distraction. You know, units in the military move. They're individual people, but they operate at like 5 fingers on a hand. You fold that down right, that's a fist. Okay, in my family, we have a family whistle. We start teaching that whistle from little, when you first start walking.
Right.
Anywhere in the world I go, I hear that whistle. I know that's one of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And when I whistle back, they know I'm in the room. That verbal and nonverbal is very important. That's why you can't operate in fear, because it distracts you from being able to see in your spirit self. Because remember, we got a flesh self and a spirit self.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, a lot of times, most times, they're not operating together.
Mm-hmm.
Spirit on one tip, flesh on another tip. As we elevate,
right.
we're trying to merge the two, right?
Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So that same thing happens. We can't start people with the top secret security clearance in the relationship.
Mm.
And what I was going to say about Mississippi Pew Girls, see, then that extends out to the people who you have in your circle, which we learned here before last, because there's levels to the circle around you.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
She has told people, oh, no, she's not in an open enrollment period. She's not taking no new friends right now. For real. Because she saw something or noticed or observed or heard that I didn't see. Because that's what units do. Or people who operate on your frequency.
Right. Right.
So make sure that you understand when you're doing that internal work. That's why it's so important. Mm-hmm. I already said these spirits now is running in packs for real.
The spirits are running in packs. Lord have mercy.
Looking for who they can devour, okay?
Oh, my goodness. Nikki.
And remember, they will take the easy way in. Just remember that. It's not always one in your face. It's not camouflage. They'll take the easy way in. They'll ride in on somebody else.
What's the easy way in? Tell me.
They ride in on another. See, you think that the one you gave the access to, access is more important than possession.
Wait a minute.
I don't need $1 million. I don't need $5 million. All I need is access to someone who has that. I don't have to pay tax. I don't have to watch it. I don't have to do none of that. But I can still get everything I need to get because I have access to someone who has it and has to do all that other stuff. Same thing with the relationships. The spirits will ride in on the one that you gave the clearance to.
Ooh.
And if you're in fear, you won't see them because the one you gave clearance didn't see them.
Okay, Nikki. All right. Guess what you just did,
child? I love everybody.
We love Nikki. Hey, man, Nikki from the SIP. If you want to bring your city in the building, did you hear what she said? Sometimes they will ride in on the one you gave clearance to. Lord have mercy. Listen, when I come forward, if you think we haven't scratched the surface, you'd be 100% right.
He's on fire tonight. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Black Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass says the Trump administration is using the city to push its extreme immigration agenda.
We will defend our ordinance and continue to defend policies that reflect the long-standing values of our city.
This comes after the Department of Justice sued Los Angeles to end its sanctuary city status. Bass calls the lawsuit an all-out assault. You can now rent Michael Jordan's former Chicago mansion on Airbnb. It sleeps 12 with 7 bedrooms, a movie theater, cigar lounge, salon, and a full basketball court. The cost, about $121,000 for a week. And former Presidents George W. Bush and Barack Obama are thanking U.S. foreign aid workers as most staff at USAID left Monday after the Trump administration shut it down. Bush praised their role in saving lives while Obama called closing the agency a mistake. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Cool off this summer at the Palm Springs Aerial Tramway. For just $85 for adults, $45 for kids 3 to 10. Get unlimited tram rides May through August. Plus 10% discounts at Peaks or Pines and free parking. Palm Springs Aerial Tramway. Chill at its peak. Visit pstramway.com.
Hi, I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., inviting you to join me weekdays at 12 noon, right after Tavis Smiley, here on KBLA Talk 1580. As a law school graduate and theologian with a firm grasp of our body politic given almost 2 decades in Congress, my show is the fresh new home of an authentic, uncompromised quest for transformation and salvation, both personal and collectively, as I vigorously interrogate the theological and symbolic meanings embedded in our society. I promise to leverage my knowledge of history, theology, and both international and domestic issues to imagine an inclusive vision for the future, which I hope will inspire all of us to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness as a given, not just an aspiration. So join me weekdays at 12 noon right after Tavis Smiley for 2 hours of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show only on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The following is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways with the purpose of soliciting sales of vacation ownership. For complete details, please visit fvgradio.com. If you want a 100% complimentary stay at a luxury resort in Cancun, airfare not included, then Family Vacation Getaways is your ticket to paradise. See website for complete details. We're giving away 5 days and 4 nights to the first 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. Do you know it? Call now, 800-868-6431. 800-868-6431. You're also eligible for an exciting bonus vacation to Orlando, Florida for just $498. And don't worry about anything ruining your plans. We can extend your travel up to 18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird, and get a complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation to Orlando for just $498. What are you waiting for? Call 800-868-6431. 800-868-6431 and give us your answer. The proceeding is not a contest and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways and not sponsored by this program or its affiliates.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
If you were doing it properly, then, what would be the outcome? The experiment of being abundant would be that you would have to feel that feeling. It's so good at doing it with your eyes closed.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do it with your eyes open. Now, why? Because if you're feeling the feelings of your emotions, of your future, you're no longer looking for them.
Because you're in the future now.
Your body is so objective that it's believing it's living in that reality where you are abundant. And as long as you feel that emotion, you're not separate from it any longer. You're no longer in lack. You're no longer looking for it to occur. Say, why hasn't it happened yet? If you're feeling abundant, why would you look? Right? You wouldn't. So then our job then is to be able to maintain that modified state of mind and body. So does that mean like you should check your bank account tomorrow and see if there's $500,000 in it? No. You keep tuning into that potential, and then here come the synchronicities.
Yes.
What's that? That's feedback in your environment. It's the universe saying, hey, Lewis, whatever you're doing, all of a sudden, we are starting to create, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it's so important for people to remember that they're the creators of their lives instead of the victim of their lives, right? Mm-hmm. So the victim is saying, I'm feeling this way because that person or that circumstance or I don't have any money is causing...
Hey, listen. That's what I was waiting on. Did you hear that clip? Who is that? Do we know who that is? Lewis Howes. See, most of us are not granting access, right? Because we are the writer, director, and producer of a self-fulfilling prophecy where we are also the star. Oh, that's Dr. Joe Dispenza. Where we're also the star of our victimhood flick. Of our this happened to me, and I am owed this, and I am due this. And this is why typically it never comes. And let me tell you something. Have you ever watched, I'm from my generation, I'm aging myself, I Dream of Jeannie? Barbara Eden was a gorgeous woman. I can't even front. But even whenever you watched anything that was Jeannie related, yeah, you get the wish, right? You get the wish. But the wish never really works out. Why? Because the wish is coming from a broken space. The wish is coming from an imbalanced space, right? It's never coming from a whole space. Many of us are wishing for a better relationship while guarding against it. And if we don't do any self-work or any self-investigations, right, to figure out why we're the way we are, we keep attracting the same kind of person who's probably modified his act or her act in order to get back into your space. Tonight's topic is talking about the law of access. And I need you to understand, for most of us, we don't relate. We trespass. To name it love or bond or connection may merely offer a semantic veil for what often functions as psychological surveillance, energetic theft, or spiritual prostitution. What we commonly call intimacy frequently resembles a trauma reenactment cloaked in sentimentality. A compulsive unveiling of the soul not to be met, but to be mirrored, validated, or consumed. Herein lies the unspoken premise of the law of access. Sacred things shared with unworthy people become portals for dark forces. Access is not love. Access is a frequency of agreement, an invitation, whether conscious or unconscious, into the most vulnerable chambers of one's being. And when this invitation is granted, without discernment, without the spiritual clearance of mutual evolution, we mistake emotional nakedness for soul resonance. And we can hemorrhage, in essence. We actually hemorrhage essence. Drawing upon the work of Dr. David R. Hawkins, his consciousness calibration, we see that not all beings vibrate at the same octave of integrity. Yet, in the trauma-adapted psyche, unhealed inner children open doors indiscriminately. As Patrick Carnes notes, we seek the familiar in the dysfunctional. We seek the familiar in the dysfunctional. The White Knight Syndrome by Marilyn Lamia, and the compulsion to rescue often disguise an unconscious barter. I will give you my sacredness if you rescue me from myself. Hell nah. You're going to get the foyer access. You're not going to get the green room access. You're not going to get the upper room access. You're not going to get it. Do you hear what I'm saying? We don't understand our true infinite worth, which is why access is easy. Do you understand? This is not love. This is covert begging. The law of access demands that we interrogate, right, this spiritual promiscuity. Right? When Pema Chodron writes that suffering is the portal to presence, she invites us into a revelation. If we do not guard the suffering that refines us, we risk commodifying our growth in the name of connection. To offer our unprocessed truths to those who cannot metabolize them is not vulnerability, it's self-harm. When I come forward, the voice of reason is going to keep cooking.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
Hey, it's Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. Are you tired of stains stealing your shine? California Cleaners is where you go to rescue your wardrobe. They don't just clean, they elevate. Hand washing, crisp laundry, and precise alterations, all while keeping your wallet happy. Listen, all you gotta do is connect with them in the beautiful city of Inglewood. Whether it's grass-stained jeans, silk that's seen better days, or a hemline emergency before date night, you're on deck with California Cleaners, located at 1326 North La Brea Avenue, Inglewood, California.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, You'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
You'd rather make it hard. Loving you is like a battle. And we both end up with scars. Tell me who I
So what are you fearful about? Something that will happen or you think will happen, isn't it? Fear is always about something which does not exist right now, it's always about what will happen. So you are suffering that which does not exist. If you're suffering that which does not exist, there are psychiatric terms for that. Your only comfort is everybody is in the same state. They're suffering things which does not exist, simply because in your education system, you are studying about everything except how to manage this. You must know how to keep this, how to conduct this body, how to conduct this mind, how to conduct this emotional structure and the energy structure. If you do not know anything about this, then you are an accidental being.
Hey, I hear you, sad guru. Don't… I hear you out here cooking, boy. I love it. That's good work, man. We got callers on the line. I want to get them in here before the end of the show here. Davy Lee out of Arkansas. Davy Lee, what are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
It's a great topic for tonight. You know, it really it shows me a lot within myself because, like I've explained a couple of calls back, you know, I got to deal with certain things in my life that, you know, it make me bring myself back to when I've gained people too much access to my thoughts or my ideas that could possibly destroy somebody's mindset. You know, it could destroy their mentality to where they feel no hope within themselves, or they could fall in love with themselves because they're so focused on what they feel love is to them. You know, you can destroy somebody's image of themselves by just being too hard up on them or not doing what you're supposed to do for yourself in the first place. So sometimes I feel like, you know, going through the situations with my mother having schizophrenia and bipolar disorders that, you know, I'm forced on the challenge of working through certain things that I may not have worked with in the past when I was a teenager or when I had the opportunity to, you know, stomach certain things that I didn't. So now I'm forced to stomach certain things in order for the well-being of others and myself in certain aspects. So it's just like you gotta push through, man. You gotta push through for others.
Come on, Davy Lee. Man, don't come in here with that grown-up mess. I love it, brother. Hey,
it is what
man.
it is, man. You're teaching us well, man. We're going to teach ourselves, too.
Man,
It's
I
just about the
love
toolbox
that,
we're trying to
brother.
give us.
Dang. Hey, man, I love you, brother. If I never see you in my life, man, just know that I love you, brother. Hey,
Yes,
man, no,
sir.
for real. That was
I appreciate
that
you.
was so transparent. That was so real, so honest. Man, hey, man, I'm honored that you tap in and you tune in and you listen to this show, man. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you. It helps a lot, just by having the different mind states that you give us throughout all these different shows, through all y'all speaking. It helped me get an understanding of what I should do for just going on forward within this moment and trying to stick it in there, man. You got to stick the landing, man, just like the book say. That way you could figure it out for other relationships that you may have, or just with this one right here. You gotta stomach certain things that you wouldn't like, but it may turn out beautiful in the end. You never know.
Man, guess what you just did, brother? Just come on.
I brought y'all to the stage, baby.
Yeah. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. Hey, Andy, do we have that other clip of the poet? Because I want to play this clip. I want people to hear this clip. Listen. We talking about why you should be careful and why you should, you know what I'm saying, protect yourself and oh my God, don't let people have access to you. Yeah. I get it. That is the mindset of the unhealed, though. When you are healed, you will welcome people into your energy. Why? Because that's when you understand my energy is infinite. You can't take from me. I'm not worried about pouring into you and not having enough for me. I'm tapped into the source of all that is. I don't lose anything by pouring into you. When you grow up spiritually, you start to recognize I gotta let people in so I can keep up leveling. Uh-oh. See, it's only the broken ones. It's only the wounded ones that are saying, oh no, keep the doors closed. Because they're hurting. And they think they will hurt more. And they're right. Up leveling hurts. But trust me, it's worth it. Now, I'm not saying let somebody come in and beat you up. We're talking psychologically. We're talking spiritually. What did Rumi say? Right? The wound is where the light enters. Keep breaking your heart until it opens. Play this clip so y'all can understand.
She said, oh, how long you been doing poetry? I said, many years, more than 20. But when I caught her expression, my smile started to fade. She said, more than 2 decades and you still performing around the way? I at least thought you'd been on Broadway or a national stage. My nostrils fled. I shifted in my seat. I adjusted my glasses. I said, what you say to me? She said, I'm just saying, more than 20 years should probably bring you fame. I said, well, the fact that I'm still in demand leaves me amazed. I'm grateful. I looked at sis again. There was no scales, no sharp talons, but it was a little smoke on her tongue. She was hateful. She said, how old are you? I took a long look around the room. I was hinting at sis to go on and move. I was trying not to be rude. I said, I'm in my early 40s. She said, true. I don't see no ring. I said, no, baby girl, not yet. She said, oh, so you ain't meet nobody who wanted to take you off the market? I said, well, of the few men that I dated, there was one I thought I would be with for life, but it didn't work out that way. She said, another independent woman who can't find her Mr. Right. I said, sis, you want to fight? But she laughed at my offense. Instead of falling back, she leaned in. She said, you sitting here like you ain't got no friends. At least tell me you got some kids. I said, I don't have no time for this. My life is beautiful the way that it is. She said, oh, you one of them. I said, one of who, friend? She said, you the type to meet a grim reality with toxic positivity. You sitting there like you never wanted to be mommy or wifey. I said, you're talking to a woman who has a radical acceptance for whatever God has for me. I said, honestly, I'm at peace. And I remembered I didn't even have to be in this woman's vicinity. I started to gather my things up quickly. I said, for the record, I didn't enjoy your company. But since you forced yourself upon me, the least you can do is tell me your name. Sis gonna say same. I said, same as what, girl? Stop playing. She said, same as the woman that I'm talking to, boo. She said, sis, I'm you. I'm the dark corners of your brain. I give voice to what your subconscious be saying. She said, you met a lot of hurt people who wanted you to feel the same. You used to ignore it, but now in the quiet corners of your day, you start to regurgitate all of the negative things they used to throw your way. And she said, look around, sis, I'm not even here. But I'm glad that you can hear your inner thoughts really are that rude. You need to get to therapy and get them people's opinions up off of you. Because I know your life is beautiful, but the question is, do you? She said, right now, you sounding like your own biggest hater. And I wanted you to know that until you let their opinions go, you are the only dragon that needs slaying. Thank y'all.
Yeah. The voice of reason ain't playing with y'all this evening. You're afraid to give access because you're afraid to be re-traumatized. But at the same time, being afraid of being re-traumatized, you go out and reenact the very act that traumatized you in the first place by choosing that which is familiar. You don't want to heal. You want to escape. But the more you escape, the more time you add. Right? Spiritual dropouts don't get to evolve. What they do is create more entropy in their lives. How many times have you met a person that's so damn articulate about everything, spiritual, all of it, know everything, life a mess? How you know everything? And it still ain't good. It still ain't cool. Same person you was with 3 other people. Do you see? This, oh, I got to protect my energy, because my energy, Listen, healing requires courage. And until you have the courage to go into that inner cave of you and battle with you, the lessons will continue to come. You'll continue to be fearful. Oh, I got to protect myself. Listen, if you won with God, why would you need protection? Yeah, a lot of y'all lack faith and don't even know it. When we come forward, the voice of reason gonna keep the fire cooking. Tomorrow I got another one. Let's go.
She just might be fooling you. Remember, if you can do it, she can too. Because a woman needs a love just like you do. Hey, don't kid yourself into thinking that she don't.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.